Hey everybody. So I saw that a lot of people were saying that the last thing that we went over was very easy, and I'm very happy about that. So we're going to go a little bit faster specifically for Unit 1 because Unit 1 is mostly review, but some of you had asked for help on certain lessons, and that's completely okay. So I'm going to make this video for those people who asked for help, specifically for the lessons that were asked, and then I'm just going to briefly go over the ones that did not have any questions asked. So one of the things that needed a lot of help from people was dividing fractions. So when you're dividing fractions, the number one thing that you need to remember is this phrase. Let me write this out. The phrase is keep, switch, flip. Okay? Keep, switch, flip. And I'm going to show you what that means. Let's say you were doing 5 over 8 divided by 5 over 6. So let's write that out. And one of the things that you need to remember as a vocabulary is something called reciprocal. So remember that reciprocal is the flipped version of a number slash fraction. So for example, if I had 1 over, maybe 2 over 3, the reciprocal of that is 3 over 2. Now, what happens if you have a whole number? Well, all whole numbers are over 1. Because anything divided by 1 is itself, right? So 5 over 1, 6 over 1, 7 over 1, those are all how you would write a whole number. So the reciprocal of a whole number would be 1 over 5 for this one. Or for 3, again, you just put it over 1 over 3. And then the reciprocal of 1 over 3 is 3 over 1. Or you can just write it as 3, that's fine too. So here, now that we got that out of the way, keep, switch, flip. So this is literally what you're supposed to do for each part of the problem. You're supposed to keep the 5 over 8, keep the first number. You're going to switch the second number from division to multiplication. And then you're going to flip the second number upside down to its reciprocal. Keep, switch, flip. Then once you do that, you multiply across. So we got 5 times 6 is 30. 8 times 5 is 40. So, and then don't forget to simplify. Something that both of these can be divided both by is 10. So you have to start getting used to simplifying your fractions. If you're not really sure how to simplify your fractions, we can talk about it during class, or you just need a little bit more practice, that's okay too. So this comes out to 3 over 4. Okay? We can do another one. So again, I'm going to move this. Okay, so let's try 9 over 10 divided by 2 over 5. Okay, we're going to keep the front number. We're going to switch the sign, and then we're going to flip the second number. And now we just multiply across. 9 times 5 is 45. And 10 times 2 is 20. Now here's the hard part. Now you got to figure out, okay, what's something I can divide both the top and the bottom by? Well, in this case, I can divide both of them by 5. So 45 divided by 5 is 9. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Now you can keep it like this, that's fine. This is called an improper fraction. When the top number is bigger than the bottom number, it's called an improper fraction. That is completely okay to put it as for my class. I will accept that. If you don't like to use improper fractions, you can turn this into a mixed number, which means a whole number and a fraction. So this would come out to 2 and 1 over 4. And if you need me to go over how to turn improper fractions into mixed numbers, we can go over that during class. Okay. So let's try another one. So we have 2 and 9 over 10 divided by 3 over 5. Now here's something that's interesting. This is possible to do a mixed number and a fraction. I don't personally like it. I turn it into an improper fraction. And here's how you do that. So to turn something into an improper fraction, let's say 2 and 9 over 10, what you're going to do is you're going to multiply the whole number and the bottom number. So this would be 2 times 10 equals 20. Then you're going to take that number and you're going to add it to the top. So 20 plus 9 equals 29. So 2 and 9 over 10 is actually 29 over 10. They have the same value. The only difference is just the way they look. So we can go over more of this in class again if you have questions, but that's just a little review on how to do that. Personally, I like working with improper fractions as opposed to mixed numbers. It makes things easier. So I changed this to that. Okay, I just changed the way it looks. 29 over 10 divided by 3 over 5. So keep, switch, flip. So keep 29 over 10, switch the sign, and flip the second number, 5 over 3. Then we got 29 times 5, which I believe 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. 145 over 30. Now, if you had kept it like this, I would still accept it, but it is not the simplest form. Okay? Now, don't worry about simplest form too much. As long as you're trying and you're doing some of the time, I'm not going to take off points for the one you miss, especially stuff like this that it's hard to see. Just remember that sometimes you can still simplify it, divide top and bottom, and then once you start getting to the habit of it, maybe it'll become easier for you. For now, don't stress too much about it. Okay, if you miss it, just do what you can, and then you'll get better over time. By the end of the year, you'll be a master at this. So I'm going to divide both the top and the bottom by 15. Does 15 work? Well, let's try something smaller. Let's do 5. See, even I get messed up sometimes. So 145 divided by 5. Where do I have space to do that? I have space over here if I can move this. Let me move this real quick. Ta-da. Get that out of the way. No, out of the way. There we go. So, 145, I'll use a different number, different color. 145 divided by 5. So that's 2, 10, 45, 9. Okay, so that means it's 29 over 30 divided by 5 is 6. That's good. That's simplest form. All right. So again, if you come into class with questions and telling me you need help with certain things, I'm definitely going to help you out with those. If you don't ask me questions, I can't help you. So that's it for this lesson. All right. We're now going to move on to adding, subtracting decimals. So with adding, subtracting decimals, it works like this. Let's say you have this, right? 0.24 plus 0.71. First of all, going horizontally is probably one of the hardest things that you could do. I would say go vertically. It's so much better. And the way you're going to do that is you have to make sure that your decimals are lined up. So I have 0.24. The decimal goes here, so the decimal goes here. I had a 0 there, I had a 7 after the decimal, and then a 1. Okay, make sure that your decimal, the number of decimals behind the decimal point is the same. If they're not the same, if they're not the same, then your kind of your addition's gonna come out weird. Okay, so we're gonna add them just like normal numbers. I kind of don't even really need to care that it's a decimal anymore. 4 plus 1 is 5. 2 plus 7 is 9. Bring down the decimal. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0.95. Okay. Same thing with the next one. Let's do 0.08 plus 0.65. All right. So here we go. So we have 0.08. My 10 and hundredths place are lined up with the tenths and hundredths place of my other one. So 8 plus 5 is 13. And if you need a reminder on place value, this goes, let's say 0 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sure. This goes tenths, so tenths. Then this one is hundredths. This one is thousandths. I don't think you're going to need to know past thousandths for this class, but just in case, 10 thousandths. And then don't worry about the 5. Okay, just notice that there's a THS at the end. You have to go th at the end of it. So hundredths, thousandths, 10 thousandths. Okay, so my tenths and hundredths place are lined up, so I know they're lined up correctly. And then I just add. So 0 plus 6 is 6. Decimal goes straight down. Add. All right. For subtracting, it's the exact same thing, except just subtraction. So again, we have 0.91 minus 0.45. I'm going to line them up. So my tenths place here lines up with my tenths place in the other one. And then I minus. So I can't subtract 5 from 1, so I have to borrow. So it becomes 6, it becomes 4, and then this becomes 0. 0.46. Now this one's very interesting. Let's try 3D. So here we have 16.04 minus 5.716. So I'm going to put 16.04 first. If I can, there we go. 16.04 minus, that's my tenths place. This is my tenths place, so I'm going to line them up. And then wherever the rest falls is where it falls. Okay, make sure they're lined up. My tenths with my tenths, my hundredths with my hundredths, my 1 with my 1. It's okay that you have a little bit off the edge. That's fine as long as the rest are lined up. And then we just subtract them. So if there's nothing here, we can assume there's a 0, right? If you didn't know, now you know. 0 is an amazing placeholder for when there's just an empty space. So 0 minus 6 doesn't work, so I'm going to have to borrow. I'm going to do this in red. 10 minus 6 is 4. 3 minus 1 is 2. 0 minus 7 can't work, so I got to borrow. 10 minus 7 is 3. Bring down the decimal. 5 minus 5 is 0. And then bring down the 1. So the final answer is 10.324. Okay. Multiplying decimals. This will be the last lesson that we're going to go over. And then let's see what we got here. So when you're multiplying decimals, you can kind of just forget that they're decimals for a bit. And what I mean by that is, let's say you have 0.3 times 0.5. This one, it doesn't matter too much about whether you lined it up or not. I mean, you should have it lined up, but it won't kill you if you don't. All I'm going to do is I'm kind of just going to pretend that there's no decimal here. So 3 times 5 is 15, carry the 1. 5 times 0 is 0 plus 1, right? Then I start my second row. 0 times 3 is 0. 0 times 0 is 0. Put them together. And then now I care there's a decimal. So then the last step is where you should care. I had 1 decimal place here, 1 decimal place here for a total of 2. Therefore, I need 2 in my answer. 0.15. Okay, let's try another one. 2.2 times 4.3. So I'm going to multiply it out. 3 times 2 is 6. Again, kind of just ignore the decimals for now. 3 times 2 is 6 also. Put a 0 for the new row. 4 times 2 is 8. Another 4 times 2 is 8. Add them down, so that's 6. 14, carry the 1. 9. There are 2 decimals in my problem, so there will be 2 decimals in my answer. All right? So all of you said that you were okay with your division problems and your multiplying decimals and all that. So again, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video because I don't know how many will need this, but this is practices for you, for those of you who do. Please ask questions when you come to class. All right? Unless you really don't need help, in which case, awesome. Hopefully this will be a good review for you. All right, see you on Thursday.